Today, well, I'm going to double down on yesterday. Yes, the president is a psychopath. He's psychopathic. He displays psychopathic behavior. It's classic textbook stuff. I'm not the only person saying it, but it's very interesting how many of you really want to get in on that. Hey, you know what? I got a person saying it, but it's very interesting how many of you really want to get in on that. Hey, you know what? I got to turn up my volume. And I am a childhood sexual assault survivor, and I work with people who are also childhood sexual assault survivors and help them with their cPTSD or complex post-traumatic stress syndrome. But that is not why I am here today. Today I am here to try to figure out why it is that women will vote against their own best interests. So they must not think that they are voting against their own best interests. Some of them know they are, but they feel like if they get found out, they're going to, be punished in their marriage or their community or their church or their family. But what about all the other people? What about the people that are really in there, that really are diehard MAGA women? Why are they okay with the idea of potentially dying from an ectopic pregnancy? I'm not going to take questions or answers on here. Please put them in the comments. This is turning into a talk show, interview show after June 1st when my book comes out. And it's called It Assault, My Continuing Efforts to Survive Childhood Sexual Grooming and Assault. And I know, as a person who spent my adolescence and teens in a secret double life of being turned into somebody's sex plaything gradually over time, and having a wonderful family and a wonderful Norman Rockwell life and parents who would never have let this happen or keep going if they'd have known. But I didn't tell. I didn't tell because society set me up to not feel comfortable. By the time I knew what was going on, I felt shameful and guilty, and the way that the whole system and the patriarchal religious setup has been structured has left people like me as children feeling unable to tell. So now we're here telling, and people are mad. People are getting mad. Even a few in my own family are like, why do you need to do this? And I'm like, because people are still voting MAGA. Because women are still voting against their own rights and interests. Some people say, on a world level, lots of people will tell me, even progressives, well, that's culture. That's their culture. Just their culture to have their rights be non-existent. It's their culture to be married off young to somebody they didn't choose. It's their culture to be traded for a cow. It's like, that's not okay with me. Yes, it is somebody's culture to do that. No, I'm not okay with that. But bring it back home. MAGA women are okay, evidently, with their daughters being raped and having to have the child of the rapist. And I'm going to tell you right here, I did a study when I was in college. I was director of the KRCU 91 FM radio station in Cape Girardeau, production director, rather. And a study that I did was of women who got abortions, girls, and there was a huge disproportionate amount, still is, of evangelical and Catholics who will have their daughters get abortions, even though they're the ones that are voting against it, that are speaking against it. It doesn't stop them from doing it. So somewhere in you, I have to believe, MAGA woman, that if your daughter got raped, or if your daughter had an ectopic pregnancy that is doomed, it's going to explode, she's going to get to the point of near death. If you can vote for the laws as they stand in many, many states now, and more coming on board, that say she can't have an abortion until her own life is in jeopardy, It's mind-blowing to me that you will vote for someone. So, like, I can't believe you hate your daughters. So it comes down to just ignorance. And you'll tell me all kinds of nasty things. I look forward to reading the comments. I literally have way too thick of a skin to give a goddamn what you have to say. I'm hoping some of you are hearing what I have to say. That's what I'm hoping. So, there was an interview I saw with a journalist who went to Kenya. And she was interviewing Maasai. And a Maasai woman said that she felt sorry for the journalist because she didn't have sister wives, and it was so great to have sister wives. So, of course, the journalist asked, what's so great about having sister wives? And she went on to say, and this is speaking from her culture as a Maasai woman in a very third world place, she was traded for a cow or a goat, I think it was a cow, when she was 14, to an older man. She says she cried and cried. He led her away, raped her into having some kids, out in the woods where she lived, in their, I can't remember what the name of it is, hut thing, I don't know, someone smarter than me, fill in that blank. And then finally, one day he came home with another wife, someone he traded some livestock for. And now she was happy because she wasn't alone, and there was someone else to have kids too. So they're both having kids, and they were both excited when the third wife got brought home. Also, every time a young girl. This old man bringing home young girls. Now the two Maasai wives are happy to have third girl because someone else, there's like a rank in an order. You've got someone else to tell to do things. And she said, this is the sickest part to me. She's like, the best thing is that now we can make more daughters to trade for more livestock. Yay! This is why she was glad to have a sister wife and why she was sorry for us. And maybe explaining to her that we live in a place where nobody can trade us for livestock, where that's not possible, where we have rights and all, or at least we used to. Now I'm beginning to get afraid that we don't anymore. Some of them are gone. Some of them are gone. Obviously, I'm going to not be needing an abortion, but I did in the past. I had a medically necessary abortion, and I had one chosen abortion, and I'll tell you what, it was exactly what I needed to do. It was what I wanted to do, and in the time of the medically necessary one, it's what I had to do. So not to argue ethics with you about the chosen one. If I had not been able, not just able, if the doctors took me from the ER to waiting and then did a DNC, which is an abortion when you need one medically, immediately, because having a dead 11-week-old fetus in me was not going to do anything for me or it. Waiting to expel that naturally, or nowadays what you'd have to do is get a court order. You'd have to prove that that baby was actually deceased before you went for the DNC. You'd have to get a judge. You'd have to have legal advocacy just to remove dead fetal tissue from your body, like I had to do following I don't know why my baby died at 11 weeks old. It just wasn't moving anymore. It was gone. But I didn't have to prove that. A doctor said, your baby's gone. Let's go get that dead tissue out of you. And thank God, because if it had been nowadays, I might have gotten an infection. I might not have my 3 sons. And my 3 sons are the world to me. And that could have been robbed from me, and it's being robbed from women, including their very lives, are being lost because of the laws already made by ignorant ass men who don't have a clue about what's going on in women's bodies. So I ask again, MAGA woman, why do you vote against your own best interests? Do you hate yourself? Do you hate your daughters? Are you afraid of your husbands? I know some people actually believe this. The man is supposed to be the head of the household. crap and whatever goes. That's a cop-out. Those are just women that don't want to work for a living. They want to freaking have someone else tell them what to do, pay the bills. You know what? That's why they vote the way they do. They vote the way they do because it keeps them from having to show up in their own life. It keeps the peace. Well, keeping the peace in your own life, is that worth what you're doing to your daughter's futures? Is that the worth the medical, the potentially life-threatening trade-off to your daughters? Is it? And also, everyone always talks about the nice gay couple they know, but suddenly they can't get married? Suddenly you don't want them to have rights? How about suddenly legally embryos are people? You know what's next with that? They're going to say, you can't destroy your embryos, so if you don't want them, we're going to give them away. We're going to sell them. They're going to grift. I tell you right now, maggots are going to grift onto, if we keep going the way we're going and we don't win elections at the local level, the next step I predict is that they're going to say embryos are up for sale. And then they're going to charge the people who didn't use their embryos, and they're going to sell them and make money on that too. And they're going to only qualify the people that they want to breed. And you do. The MAGA people are actually having rallies. They've been having rallies for a few years, bringing together young girls and encouraging them not to go to college, but to get married. They're having like mixers to try to get their daughters married before they go to school. So if you're trying to deny someone education, ask yourself why. So I don't know. What's the answer? It's a cop-out? You want your life given to you and you'll do anything for it? Or it's you don't give a goddamn if your daughter needs an abortion, you're going to drive her where you can get one and you think that'll always be available no matter what you do? Because it won't be. If we keep going this way, it's going to go everywhere. It's going to go bye-bye. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not full of answers, but I am full of the desire to save my country. I am full of the desire to save my daughter-in-laws from tragedy and strife. I don't want my son to bury his wife after an ectopic pregnancy takes it because she wasn't allowed to have an abortion. If you don't think women's rights matter, how are you a woman? I don't know. You're the real transsexuals. You might as well be freaking men. If you don't think women matter, if you don't think our rights matter, if you don't think our being able to plan our own families or not die from a pregnancy gone awry matters, then maybe you're the transsexual. Maybe you're a dude. Maybe you're a maggot dude. No, I take it back. I know so many wonderful men, including my own husband, who are just shocked and dismayed at the way things are going. So I ask again, think about Messiah woman. She thinks she's got it good because he stole 2 more women to rape, and now she's not lonely. Everything's a matter of perspective. That's better for her than being alone in the woods, taking all the raping and raising all the children by herself. But being raised to be glad you have a daughter to trade for a cow means you're never really going to connect with that daughter, which explains a lot about the way she feels. She didn't have anyone to turn to emotionally. Her mom didn't stop this from happening. Her dad didn't care. It wasn't a big fancy wedding. It was, here's the cow, here's the girl. If that's how your parents feel about you, and then that's how you feel about your children, I just see a parallel here. You MAGA women, if you're going to let your daughters not have the same rights that you did, what does that say about you? What does that say about you? Just like all these damn politicians, they're under threat. I don't believe this many GOP are that horrible, vile, evil, indecent, and ignorant. I don't believe all of the GOP in seats are meaning what they say. They have a look on their face of being truly under threat. And when the most powerful man and the richest man in the world get together, imagine the threats that can fly. Just imagine. So if we have a trapped house right now, then what we have to do, back to the top, we start local. We start local. I won't turn it on, but trust me, it's effective and fun. Yeah. Fun. No, trying to battle for democracy isn't fun. We try to like laugh and smile a little bit along the way, but all of us would really, really rather be binging Married at First Sight or Farmer Wants a Wife or maybe something a little more highbrow. You do you. But please consider the future of your children. Consider the future of your daughters, MAGA women. Don't be the best bad woman. Like the MTGs and the Lauren Boeberts. They've embraced the patriarchy and they love their stardom and their rise, and their ignorance allows it to happen, having literally no knowledge of grammar, science, history. I don't know how these girls graduated, if they even did. You rise. And a lot of people want that spot, even just in their own family, in their own community. You want people to say, yay, go girl. And if you're surrounded by nothing but MAGA men and MAGA family or MAGA workers, which I worked at a place once that it wasn't MAGA then, it was just serious-ass Republican. And I voted for Obama and we won, and I couldn't even whoop-de-doo on the floor for fear of retribution from my boss and the manager, Don't be the best bad woman. There's nothing in it for you. This isn't a popularity contest. We're out of school. We have our lives. This is about the next generation. This is about our children and our grandchildren and the fate of the planet. If you don't want to believe scientists, I don't know what to do except try to vote you out. So I hope you join in voting on such a way, and I don't want to say progressive or liberal anymore, or conservative, any of these. This is what's muddying up the water. We are all people. We should vote our conscience. We should vote by reviewing our knowledge of history and sociology and anthropology and our own hearts and science. And then we should vote for the person with the honesty and the integrity and the heart. We don't all have to agree on everything, but Chumster Fire and Muskrat have thrown out all of the middle institutions that protect us. And they did that on purpose. They did that on purpose. He wants a war. He wants to declare martial law. The Supreme Court is probably going to change the rule to where he can run for president again anyway, so he may not need to declare martial law. I hope not. But I wouldn't put anything past this administration, as proven by what he's done already. By removing the middle, it's very hard to have checks and balances. So fight, fight, fight. I have no idea what for, but I'm going to run for something. Give me a year or two, and I will run for something somewhere, because I'm willing to talk, and I'm willing to try to convince people that the world and the future of democracy is more important than padding billionaires' pockets. It is to me. So I hope some MAGA women will give this some serious thought, especially regarding healthcare and abortion and the risk of your daughters having to have a child of a rapist or die from a pregnancy complication. Don't let ignorant men decide the laws for your body. At least vote however you want, but at least vote for us to stay alive and not be subjected to antiquated medieval medical practices, or none. So I'm Linda K. Gifford. I am one of those nasty women, and we talk. And I will see you Monday. I will see you Monday. Next Wednesday and Thursday, I've got 2 days working one-on-one with Jack Canfield. Well, a small group of us. and Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul series, all those books. And so I'm going to be just knuckling down, going over every page of my manuscript. I'm still in the shorten process. Shorten. They're like, how many pages do you have? I'm like, 1,000. They're like, no! Like, it will be under 200, I swear, by Friday. So, good luck with that, huh? Talk to you all soon. Take care. Keep up the fight.